I'm Will. How you doing? I know a lot of you guys out there, and I love every one of you. And I'm an eBay reseller. So I don't know if you guys know that or not. I dropped out of the corporate world. Well, I started out as a construction worker. I was one of those tanned guys that you see standing out by the road, kind of muscular looking. And I learned, yeah. I learned I could not do that the rest of my life. About when I was 45, I was C-level. I worked for some very well-known people. And I said, I don't want to keep doing this. And at 50, I said, I'm done. So I thought that was what I wanted to do the rest of my life when I went to college. You know, I could go, you know, I was working with construction. I paid my way to go through college. And then I learned this really wasn't what I wanted to be, but it's what I thought I grew up with what I wanted to be. So what did I do when I started turning 45, 46, 47? We can go back to 1999. I became an eBay reseller. So I went from the C-suite, where you have an airplane, to becoming an eBay reseller, and starting to sell my kids books and stuff as they got older. Now, I'm not as focused. I'm ADD, I'm everything. I'm dyslexic. And so I can't be as focused as Shelley as I wish I could be. So I sell about everything. I tell people I would sell my mother and rebuy her cheaper if I could, but she's no longer with us. But you know, I'd be like selling the moon on eBay. And so I got into selling all kinds of things, and I tell people that's a good thing to do because you can always buy wherever you are. And I don't look for just one thing. I try to buy in bulk, and I try to cost average down when I buy things. And I wanted a research tool, and I was a techie, and I knew it would take a lot of tech to do what I wanted to do. I make my living in tech companies. And I said, the technology will be here. It's coming. This was about 14, 15 years ago, and I started WorthPoint. And I'm proud to say eBay's been a partner with us since then. And we do have about 15 years of eBay history for what was relevant for us. And eBay said, you guys are good for our community. And they've worked with WorthPoint since then. And so it's not whether you take WorthPoint or Terapeak. I use them both. I use Terapeak, guys. I use WorthPoint. And people like to hear less filling tastes great. Let's have that argument. No, I want them both. I want it all. And so when I do my listings, and my Will's 1 and 4, that's my store. I have about 11,000 active items, and I do this part-time. And I sell $10,000 to $20,000 a month. I am not a top-rated seller for long. I get there because I'm out here. I don't do my shipping when I'm out here. So, you know, I get there, I fade, I get there and I fade, but I'm not obsessively compulsive with it. But when I go home on weekends, or whenever I get home, I do listings, and then I do shipping. This is me. I used to be a single mom. For those of you that didn't know, I was raising my son my oldest son by myself for a while. My wife was in the hospital with quadruplets coming. And so I had my son for myself for about 5 years, or not 5 years, it felt like 5 years, for about 5 months when I was running a telecom company in Europe, but I was living in DC. And that, this is when I started thinking about how do I deal with all this weird stuff that I list. And I needed tools. And every once in a while, I would get a letter from the Trust and Safety Department. We've all been there. Will, you screwed up on your listing. And I didn't want to screw up. I wanted to do it right. But I needed tools to deal with what I was dealing with. And keep in mind, I'll sell about anything that I think I can sell and make money. And I love going into places and buying a bunch of stuff and filling my car and going home. And so I now have a big inventory I'm trying to deal with, so we're gonna try to double our sales this year. But I'm trying to think through this stuff and how do I find a place? And so we talked to eBay about using their data, and we talked about to different places, and eBay jumped in and helped me and wanted to help us with what we were doing. And I like to say research makes you a king or a queen, whatever you want to be. I've been a king and I've been a queen. All right, so both of them's good. And that knowledge is profit, but I think something Shelley said that is very important, that time is money. And so you can't, and it's a fine line about how much research do you do versus how much time do you put in. And sometimes I'll start things at auctions that I don't know how to price. And I don't want to put the time into it because I don't think it's worth a lot of money to put that time in. And I like to say that some of us as resellers we'll make more working at McDonald's and get benefits if you put too much research time into something. So you want to do it quickly and you want to start gravitating towards what should I put my time in versus what I don't. And I was telling Shelley last night, if I can list something easily and there's more than one of them and they're similar, I will start out sales at $4 and free shipping. I cringe at the word free, I don't like it, because really nothing's free, right? But it's a total in price that you're asking for your buyer to pay, and what does it cost to get that delivered at my house? And I love the eBay system because it gives you confidence, both as a buyer and seller, and eBay's gotten really good, I think, at helping the seller. People complain and say, well, it's not fair to sellers. I think it's great as a seller. I love the eBay system. And so, to me, I got to focus, though, on how do I use my time. And this is where WorthPoint gets into the tools of the trade. And people say, what is WorthPoint? And it's really hard that people know us for our price guide, the WorthPoint price guide. And you say, it's like you're Kimberly Clark and you sell Kleenex. You don't sell anything but Kleenex at Kimberly Clark, right? You don't sell anything but Scotch tape at 3M. That's what you know those companies for. And people know us for our price guide. And if somebody, I want to take 5 guesses, and whoever gets the closest will get a free WorthPoint account for the year. But how many pages do you think are in the WorthPoint price guide? Web pages.
50,000.
150,000.
300,000.
I'm going to give her a free WorthPoint account for the year. So either send me an email at will@worthpoint.com, and if you already have an account, we'll get you an account for a friend or extend you for a year. But there's 3 million plus, 3 billion. 3 billion. We can't even count them all. There's 3 billion pages in there. It's like, wow, I blew up the basement, Dad. And that we add about 30 to 50 million pages a month. So we'll get rid of some of the old ones that we're constantly trying to improve the quality of the pages, but it's big. And that some of the stuff, because I got into, it's hard to find. I don't want to compete with people. I love the red glass beads, by the way, and I have some for my parents, and so I'd like to buy some. Yeah, I have some red ones and I have some blue ones. And so they mean a lot to me. So if I'd buy them and keep them, but something I think is important, and Shelley would say the same thing, I don't compete to the bottom on prices, guys. And one of my stalkers knew that in Boston group, actually Maine. And I try to sell, I have 21,000 feedback, and people generally don't have anything bad to say about dealing with us, but I also try to look for unique things. And so when I do that, I want to go to the WorthPoint price guide, and obviously eBay's a bulk of it, We're adding max sold. I hope to be adding people like Sotheby's and Christie's next year. But eBay's an important part of what we do. That's how I found my $27,000 turkey call. That I filled my car at somebody's house for $10,000, and I got the stuff home and I was getting yelled at. And I picked up this thing, I didn't know what it was. Off the mantle, the last thing, the guy said, if you can get it in your car, it's 10 grand. So I picked up this carved item on a mantle and put it in my car. It was about that big. I got home, and I did get a lot of grief for putting things in the foyer, and I picked this up. I didn't know what it was. And the maker of it was kind enough to write Gibson turkey call on the bottom. And it's like, wow, look, I got a Gibson turkey call. I don't care, Will. I looked online, and the only place I could find it was WorthPoint. $15,000. And I said, look, I'm gonna get $15,000 for this. I put it on eBay at a 99-cent auction, and the next morning it was up to $12,000. I don't care, Will, but maybe I do. I'm getting interested. Somebody offered me $15,000 and would send their chauffeur over from the next state if I would sell it to them. Shut the auction down. No. Cash, I bring cash. It's small unmarked bills. So, I let it ride. And it went for $27,500. And you're worried about a $200 a year subscription price to the price guide. Guys, girls, quit being cheap. So this is the WorthPoint price guide, and a lot of good stuff is coming to it. The library. I like to read, I like to research. We have over 5,000 research books in the library that are cross-reference back. And you can go in there and we're adding 500 books a month. The vault, you can go in and store your stuff, store your inventory, store your personal stuff. You can track prices over time and trend them. It's a free tool. That doesn't cost anything. Maps, if you guys want to know about maker's marks, China patterns, silver patterns, we're cataloging all of that. We'll have visual recognition. We have a trial on porcelain marks now. And we'll do clothing labels, face recognition on old photos, all that will be in there. So there's a lot more to WorthPoint than a price guide. So resellers, we have a blueprint for helping you. We want to save you time. We want to help you do your listings more accurate. And we help you with descriptions because you can take a description what somebody else has used and then tailor it for your own with condition and things like that so you can list quicker. And all this helps you make more money. Here's a reseller that we have helped personally that you guys may know of. And these people are wonderful people, the Salvation Army. So we've rolled out a pilot project in Atlanta with their depot. And we're not stopping all the bad stuff from getting to the store gang, I promise you. But I walked down there one afternoon and pulled $30,000 of high-end stuff out of their piles they were going to bulk sell. And we've helped the Salvation Army in Atlanta double the sales last year on eBay. And they're going to do about $1.5 million this year in their account on eBay. And next year, we're working with Eric, who manages that operation, and we hope to do $3.4 million. And eBay is their primary selling platform. But we're teaching them how to identify what is high value. And these are all people that are coming out of rehab that we're teaching to go through this and do this and empower them. And where are we going? WorthPoint is focusing hugely on visual recognition for items, both in maps and for items as a whole. It's a huge conundrum, especially when you're dealing with as many pages. We've grown our base of auction houses by, I think, 434% last year. and we're going to surpass that in 2022 and bring you more data and more information. We're close to acquiring a European data partner that will grow this really quickly, and I hope to have that done by year end. And enrich content that just makes it easier with graphics and market trending. So I would close out and say, it's not just WorthPoint, or it's not just Therapy. I can tell you when I'm listing on eBay, I will go through and check prices and some of the shipping rates, especially on the more common items, as a quick tool. So I sell a lot of postcards, and that's one thing I always go to Therapy, you can check. So both of them are really useful for you guys, depending on what you want to do and what you're selling. And I would strongly encourage both. It's not less filling and tastes great, it's both. So thanks.